find any kind of job, even a truck driving job. I have this ostomy bag, and I'm just a mess. So it's more physical health than mental health why I can't find work, but I can be successful as a self-employed guy, and you can make me successful. I can make you successful. You buy from me, then I'll be happy to put you on my store. You could be one of my sponsors, because I also want to make money selling advertising on a per-sale basis rather than pay-per-click, impression, because again, the way that little guys can take away market share from the big guys, because money always wins, and the people that make most of the money in the number one profession in the world, which is advertising marketing, it's all pay per impression, pay per click, which is where 95% of us lose money with these new business ideas. But if it's pay per sale, so to speak, with fplanet.com, which you can look at on my advertise for free page at anarchyforever.com, we can all sell each other's products, and it doesn't cost us anything. Planet is free. And if I go viral, because I encourage you to tell everyone about me and Facebook everyone about me and have them Facebook people and so on and so on. I have a pyramid, so to speak, a legal pyramid. It's not multi-level marketing banned by PayPal. Where if you're my affiliate, you have affiliates below you that are second tier than me, where I make money off them and you make money off them, and so on and so on. I can hardly wait to get out of here so I can actually get access to a firewall and a router where I can FTP a file called a PHP Exploder to my website that'll blow up into potentially millions of different HTML files, where they're all a little bit unique. They're all about, they're never more than 95% the same as the other file. Different because of high keyword efficiency index keywords that people look up. They'll bring a lot of traffic to my website, and it's also about building the pyramid, where they promote me with my affiliate program for the donations for the Anarchist Party, charity for rebels, and I also have the affiliate program at antipussytrap.com, and it's the kind of thing where slowly but surely over time you build a very high PR page rank based on backlinks to my website, because again, the best way to build backlinks is to have an affiliate program, but it's like, how do you get traffic to your website to begin with? You get the high return investment, just like, opt-in email has a very high return investment more than anything, but it's like, how do you get people to come to your website and opt in? So it's just a lot of work. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. It's better to minimize your losses than maximize your gains. Usually when I spend a lot of money in advertising marketing, I always lose a lot of money. But hard work and doing what's logical in order to build up link reciprocity and so on, and high page rank is the logical thing to do. Just a lot of work. Make sure, because I know what happened was the traffic on my website went way down the first 5 weeks I was gone, where I didn't have access to a computer when I was in 2 convalescent homes. But now it's back. The traffic is back. I think it has something to do with the fact that I'm changing the content on the website. So I'm adding news stories. I have more news stories. You can check out on the news page at anarchyforever.com. Changing the content to all the websites. That Google likes that. Combined with the fact that I'm doing my show again, which gets people to be permanent listeners or long-term listeners, in addition to the newbies that come in, that I'm grateful for any listener I can get. And it's mostly just hard work and perseverance, not really money, that makes you successful.com, where I have had success before making money when I was a web developer building websites for other people, and Border Fence Project, where I raised money for a fence and electronic fencing with cameras on the Mexican border, had made about $2.5 million. So there is money to be made in a world where it seems like nobody's making money right now, because we're paying too much in taxes for the people lucky enough to have jobs and businesses that actually function. But because this is technically the worst economy in world history, 40% unemployment, and don't be fooled by a government and the media that wants you to believe it's only 4.9%. That's only a percentage of people collecting EDD. Eventually, we can put everyone back to work, and we can care less who these politicians are. Because, again, it's the people that grease up and bender for the politicians that say, let's all get behind so-and-so. Conformity, again, makes you look like the biggest sucker in the world. I follow a different drummer, just like Henry David Thoreau said, the consummate nonconformist, the transcendental thinker from the 1800s that wanted to go to jail to protest a government that had tax money going to a country that supported slavery before the Civil War. And then P.T. Barnum, another great American thinker of the 1800s, there's a sucker born every minute, thinking these politicians are going to fix things. No, you fix things by not paying taxes. It's just that simple. And be part of a movement that privatizes for better, cheaper, friendlier service. We could have the permanent good world economy we all deserve in 1,000 years of peace. It's guaranteed. So I think the prophets have been proven to have a talent at this point. I'm quite the skeptic. That's what's funny. Okay, so we go back to the news. We'll finish up the news right now, and then we'll finish up the show, keep in suspense for tomorrow's show. World News: Russia reports court poised to convict Ukraine's Joan of Arc in deaths of journalists. Moscow. A Russian court on Monday appeared to lay the groundwork for a guilty verdict against a Ukrainian helicopter navigator nicknamed Ukraine's Joan of Arc, wrapping up a trial over the 2014 deaths of 2 Russian journalists that has revived... So check out that story from Washington Post. Not sure what that's about. Tel Aviv Diary, Istanbul blast brings Turkey closer. On Monday morning, broadcast bulletins in Israel brought the news Israelis had been dreading, that the latest attacks in Istanbul that claimed the lives of 3 Israelis and wounded 10 others had not randomly hit Israeli churches. Yeah, they were trying to kill Jews because of what they do to the Palestinians, and they kill us because we give Israel money. So what does that mean? More revenge against ISIS by bombing them? Nope. That means they avenge us. So again, I blame the American taxpayer. And what happens is ultimately, I think what's going to happen if they don't pay taxes in Turkey, then by default it doesn't matter if Istanbul is the capital or Ankara. When it comes to Kurdistan, which is to the east, just make the world stateless. But so again, you get the government you deserve. So, but yeah, I'm quite sure they did intentionally target Israelis because again, they tried to pick a fight with a broader spectrum of taking credit for terrorist attacks that a certain element may not even have anything to do with. Because again, when U.S. Department of Justice, or not Justice, but the State Department, in cooperation with the left-wing media, says it's ISIS, whatever. Again, an intelligent person believes little what he believes, and a genius believes none of it. But a genius like Einstein said, the more you don't know about what you know, the more you know. Consummate agnosticism means, yeah, there's probably basically a pro-Islam, anti-Turkish infidel element that's really has more to do with politics, more pro-Kurd than pro-Islam. They'll show its hate and rage for Israelis as much as it wants to kill people in Istanbul because of the civil war going on between the Kurds and the Turks. Update 3, Congo ex-vice president. Guilty in landmark ICC war rape ruling. As reactions of, here I can't read, Bemba supporters in Congo. By Thomas Eskret, The Hague, March 21st, Democratic Republic of Congo's Jean-Pierre Bemba became the highest-ranking politician convicted of the International War Crimes Court on Monday when a judge. So something nasty happened to Congo. That's a perpetual civil war between, you go from being Zaire to the Congo and back again, which I think has something to do with conflict over 2 ruling monarchies. Not sure. Russia, with an eye on U.S., threatens to bomb Syrian ceasefire violators. Moscow. Russia warned Monday that it was prepared to act unilaterally in Syria against groups that said we're breaking the ceasefire there, injecting a volatile new element into a conflict that has been calmer in recent weeks. So Putin vowed to get out of Syria, and that what happens is that makes a certain elements a little bit rebellious, kind of like, when the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the blacks eventually got violent. Israel showed mercy to the Palestinians in the early 1990s that led to more violence. The same kind of thing happens when you show a gesture backing out. There's an element that gets more violent, so then the Russians re-intervene, just like the Israelis, or an element that didn't like much of the black violence that occurred in this country back in the 1960s to be anti-black. So it leads to a perpetual war between people and interests, where the people that don't respect the ceasefire really have to be held accountable. But again, more violence and more bombings by the Russians in this case, or what we did, I don't know. There wasn't really a war against blacks, even though there were civil rights many times up until the Rodney King riots of 1992, but otherwise calm going back to the late 1960s. When it came to the struggle between blacks and non-blacks in this country, the same thing in Israel, where things eventually got more peaceful in Israel, mostly because the Israelis built fencing and deported basically Jordanian nationals with criminal records, but the conflict never goes away unless people's civil rights are honored, and they just equally agree to ceasefire with no more retaliation. But there's an element of left-wing violent protester that retaliates anyway, like the element that is against what the Russians did by getting violent with celebrations after the Russians gestured to leave. So that's why, in theory, there can be no peace unless unilateral tax. Disarm them by not paying taxes. But the same thing applies to these left-wing protesters that rely on tax money, because most are probably on welfare food stamps, and I don't know what kind of social service they have in Syria, but the same thing applies here. By now, I'm a left-wing protester it's violent. Yes, I'm on a podcast right now, and so I'm talking. So that wraps up world news. U.S. news: Trump questions need for NATO, outlines non-interventionist foreign policy. Yep, I'm right on board with that. Because again, when the Russians gestured and Warsaw Pact, NATO was started just because of the Warsaw Pact. NATO has made unreasonable demands over the years. They promised. Clinton promised not to add Eastern European countries to NATO. He lied and he did. Put nuclear weapons up, point at Russia. Bush lied, promised not to add former Soviet satellites to NATO. He lied and he did with nukes. So Trump, I think, has all the right angles as a national sovereignty type guy. That we really don't need NATO. So there is a reason to vote for Donald Trump. I kind of get it. This guy is foreign domestic policy is a lot like mine, except I want to get rid of all the taxes. He wants to increase taxes, but increase taxes, lower tax revenue. So slowly but surely we have less government. So my fear about a Republican elected is that they decrease taxes. That means higher tax revenues, and that would be a bad thing to an anarchist. So that's all I'm going to say about U.S. News. They have 3 other stories that I read but don't want to comment on. Not that important. Nothing important on business news based on what I read. Technology, Apple Watch starting price slashed to $299. That's a pretty cheap price. It's an actual watch, I think. If you check out the story by CNET, it operates a lot like a smartphone where you can not only has the time, but you can. It's so tiny. I don't know how you can text with it, but so I have to check out that story by CNET. Apple has updated smartwatch with colorful new brands and a price cut. CNET consumers eyeing an Apple Watch will now be able to save a bit of money. So the fact that it has limited memory, where you can't download a lot of software, even smartphones, like I say, because my big fat fingers, I don't like to text on an iPad or an iPhone. In fact, it has limited memory. It's the reason why I'm hesitant to buy one. And as I told you in earlier shows, I'm mostly a laptop guy, and I just carry my laptop everywhere. And usually, wherever I go, I can find some Wi-Fi that I can tap into, and they're nice enough at this hospital to let me share the service I have right now with their router, even though there are some interruptions, but the interruptions have been less common lately, so that's all good news. So anyways, other technology news update. 1, Apple's robot rips apart iPhones for recycling. As comment from Greenpeace by Valerie I don't want to even try to. Well, I have to pronounce it. Volkovici. March 21st, Apple Incorporated on Monday unveiled a robotic system called Liam to take apart junked iPhones and recover valuable materials that can be recycled, such as silver and tungsten. That's good news. And then everything you need to know about iMessage security flaw patch by iOS 9.3. That's their operating system. Was up to 10 for when it came to the Mac. This is from Macworld. Security researchers discovered a number of weaknesses in iMessage's encryption system. Apple patches have already slated to appear. So one theory is that they compromised with the U.S. Department of the NSA when it came to those people in the terrorist attack in San Bernardino. They can probably redefine the decryption system for NSA cannot get into just anybody's iPhone. So there are alternatives where you can cooperate possibly with the NSA and then change your encryption formula. It's always possible, and it's kind of like what we did in World War II, where it was supposedly we broke the Japanese code, knew they were going to bomb Pearl Harbor, so we let them bomb it anyway because FDR wanted war as a way of getting out of the Great Depression. Winston Smith, or what's his name? That's a character from 1984. Winston Churchill allegedly knew that the Germans were going to bomb Coventry, but he let them bomb it. 9 people died. In the interest of winning the war, not wanting the Nazis to know they broke the Nazi codes. It's the same kind of thing now, only it's digital encryption instead of analog. That's the only difference between now and World War II. Deadline nears for Kindle owners to update or risk losing access. Kindle ebook readers gain legions of fans for their long-lasting batteries and easy navigation, but some of these devices owners may be at risk for losing the plot. So a little bit larger device might be something just like an iPad that I might find use for. So that's good news that they're going to do something about the Kindle. Entertainment news, nothing. I don't find anything interesting here other than Batman versus Superman trivia and fun facts. So they're going to, I guess they're coming out with a Batman versus Superman movie. That should be quite interesting. NCAA tournament, Sweet 16 has been decided. Notre Dame one that's worth mentioning. Syracuse, some were buzzer beaters. I think 8 of the yesterday. I think some of the 8 favorites once. Syracuse. Let's see here. Other than that, to check out anywhere you want to go. We're not really a sports show, but well, of course, tell you who the champion was. For those of you who